Hello, boys and girls. What an exciting week. I cannot avoid to be excited when things come off. I've interviewed Ray Fran Gonzalez from Super Depor. You must remember him. Fantastic left-footed player, number 10. Part of that amazing team that won the league, that lost it first. Poor Depor when they lost it in the last-minute missed penalty by Djukic, and Barcelona won that league. But then 6 years later, they eventually won it and did the centenariazo, 100-year anniversary of Real Madrid. They decided to put the cup final there. Real Madrid qualifies for the cup final, but so does Depor. Depor wins it, and he was famous as well for that turnaround against AC Milan. 4-1 they lost, and they beat them 4-0 in the second leg. Amazing times, and we spoke about all of that and more for La Liga TV, for what we call Throwback Thursday, when we look back at that historical moments with important people. We've interviewed in the past the likes of Abelardo. We've interviewed also for different shows Iniesta, Xavi, Iñaki Williams, Gordillo, Joaquin. Those are big names of Spanish football from now and the past. Anyway, that's one of the things that are happening. And then I've just been told I'm interviewing Nagelsmann, and I've been looking forward to this interview for a long time. I know that he's read my Pep Guardiola book, Another Way of Winning, and we had a little chat we crossed paths in the PSG RB Leipzig game in the Champions League last season, and he said, I'll sort something out with my man here, and it's going to happen. That will be out soon. And as well as that, I'm interviewing Eric Bailly, who of Manchester United, centre back, of course. I'm going to do it in Spanish, and I want to do a kind of Can We Come In? I don't know if you follow my podcast, and it's on video as well, where I ask different questions that help you get them to know better and differently as well. I'm going to do that with Eric and with Pedri of Barcelona. All that this week. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you before I go through the questions, and there are really, first of all, lots of them, so thank you, and good ones too. LP Kuhel says, any chance Zidane does not get the sack in the summer? Now, Zidane is interesting. Zidane actually went on a rant for the first time, I think, in his time as a manager, having come from COVID, having had COVID and come from a 10-day isolation. He seemed like a lion out of a cage, or no, like a lion in the cage. That's right, isn't it? And he just started having a go at journalists because we talk about his future and him leaving, etc. When actually that talk comes because of what we're hearing from inside the camp, from inside the club. In any case, he was quite clearly either upset, or in my eyes he was kind of forced a situation to look for an outside enemy at a time that he needed the side to react. The side reacted, of course. They won at the weekend, and he's been calm since then. But the question is, any chance Zidane does not get the sack in the summer? He hasn't got the sack yet, remember. But even Zidane said in that rant that something new is needed, that changes are needed. Not sure if he was talking about himself or not. The club are actually putting out there the line that if he goes, he goes, of course. It'll be sad. If he goes very badly in the Champions League, then of course he cannot continue. But after all, it'll be up to him. They're putting it up to him, as if kind of pushing him out of the door. So the impression I've got is that Real Madrid will be looking for something different. But remember, this is a very strange period in which usual procedures don't work, in the sense that, will a new manager be happy if no big signings come? Of course, the plan is to get Mbappe or Haaland. That's the plan. there won't be much more changes, but there may be some players that are leaving. Of course, we have heard that Alaba has got a deal with Real Madrid. It's true, but it's not fully true in the sense that they have agreed terms. Of course, it's free, but an important part of the agreement, of the deal, is to actually agree terms with the agent, and that has not happened. Hence, Alaba representatives suggesting that there is still 7 offers on the table. One of them is Real Madrid. Doesn't mean he won't go there, but they are listening to others. So that situation is still not completely resolved. This question comes from Instagram, from Ellie Thorne, says, what will happen with Varane? Does this affect the Ramos situation? Varane has used Marca, the Spanish newspaper, to bring out the line that his renewal is not sorted, finishes in 2022. Remember that it was about 2 years ago. He was about to leave. He was willing to leave. He had an offer from PSG and interest from Manchester United. Eventually, he decided to stay, but it's not clear that he can renew easily. And that's why the club have come out with another line. You like those lines, don't you? So on one hand, Varane is like, what's happening with me? On the other, Real Madrid are saying, we're going to propose a renewal to you. If you don't accept it, we will sell you this summer. We will sell you in the summer. Some say his value is 70, 60 million euros with 1 year left in his contract. It won't be as much as that. And there will be interest from many places. The impression the club has is that, according to Marca, is that he wants to go abroad. PSG, a lot, is certainly interested, and they're looking for a centre-back. And that he's thinking of that. Yes, of course, that's the kind of thing that you throw out there when there is a new contract to be negotiated. Does that affect Sergio Ramos? Sergio Ramos, as you know, is going to be out for a while, and that's down to the cartilage operation that he's had. He couldn't go on, but cartilage at his age, 30, what is it, 35, 34, let me check, actually is bad news. It's bad news because it could affect, as you've seen, for instance, with the problems that Umtiti and others have had in the past, it could affect everything. His pace, pain, swallowing, all that. Sergio Ramos, and that will tell us that he's 34. In any case, weakens his position at Real Madrid, because right now Real Madrid are thinking, right, okay, well, we've given you an offer. What do you think? They will insist with that offer. Sergio Ramos' entourage are saying he wants to stay at Real Madrid, but at the same time, the club feel that perhaps he's thinking of leaving. So there's still that thing that happens in these kind of situations, which means that nobody can say what's going to happen next. Not yet. As I insist, the entourage of Sergio Ramos say that he wants to stay at Real Madrid, but Real Madrid wants him to accept the offer that they put on the table, and that so far Sergio Ramos has not accepted. What else? Amswitch from Instagram as well is, will Gaya leave Valencia? If so, where do you think he will go? Now, Valencia, it's a club that sells quite clearly. Even though they got 3 players coming in the winter transfer, the plan is to bring more money by selling players. So everybody is for sale. Everybody's for sale. Gaya is liked very much by Barcelona. He has to determine if he wants to leave, because the club have got no indication whatsoever that he wants to leave. He's one of the captains, very close to everything that's happening in Valencia, but also he has burned people out. The change of manager from Marcelino, having won the cup, then starts the new season, gets sacked. Javi Gracia, who wanted to leave, decided to stay on, and obviously not happy by the fact that the side lost players and haven't been properly reinforced. All that means that Valencia right now cannot expect anything but stay in the first division. So Gaya as a captain has to decide if he wants to stay on, or and this situation is not going to change, or if he will be moving on. So I'll keep an eye on that and I'll let you know. Sherlock Shadman is saying, who is going to be Real Madrid next manager? If Zidane leaves or gets pushed, then Raúl is the one that Florentino Perez would like to be in charge next season. Not so much about getting a big manager, Pochettino, who got calls when he was confirmed, or he was about to be confirmed that he was going to go to PSG. Got calls from different sources. I think one of them may have been Real Madrid, perhaps. I don't know for sure, but it was just, the question was, is it confirmed? Because things may happen around here. And you just look around, and certainly it was a time in which Real Madrid didn't seem to find a victory, and you can see that. I feel that Real Madrid needs something that Pochettino would have added, but that option is gone, and Raúl is the favourite to take over. Matty Hughes 5 says, why did Marcelino go to Bilbao, and what is the target for them this season? Well, the target for Athletic Club every season is, of course, having a very good cup competition and get close to European places. The problem has always been, obviously, it's their choice to actually have players coming through the ranks, and unless the generation is a good generation, sometimes they have holes in the 11 that don't allow them to, maximize the potential of the other players. But right now, with Marcelino pushing them, and he hasn't changed many things. He's unlike what he's done with other clubs. Marcelino has asked Athletic Club to actually push forward, pressure high, a lot of intensity. That's something that Athletic Club do anyway, and has given confidence to players that perhaps weren't playing regularly, like De Marcos, for instance, on the right-hand side of the midfield, who can play also as full-back. Vencedor is growing in the centre of midfield as well. There is the usual suspects up front with Raúl García, Muniain, and Iñaki Williams, and they are absolutely key. But you have, in a way, you have what you have, and it does feel sometimes that they don't have a replacement. If they're not there, it's very difficult for them to make an impact. But so far so good with Marcelino, who got 5 victories in 7 games, if I'm not mistaken. And the plan is this season to win 2 cups, 2 Copa del Reis, within 15 days. How do you do that? Because, of course, Athletic Club Real Sociedad will be played about 15 days before, I think it is, than the other cup final, the semi-finals of which the first leg is played this week, the second leg gets played like 3-4 weeks later, and of course Athletic Club are in the semi-finals against Levante, favourites to get to the final, and once there, anything can happen. They showed it in the Super Cup that they won. So cup competitions is the biggest and easiest way for Athletic Club to get to a title. They got 1 already this season. They could actually get 3, which will be amazing. That's the big priority. So Serge, BB Boy Serge, who's a regular here, how are you? What do you think happened with Griezmann? He's scoring way more and is now very important. I did a piece for Catalan television for TV3, and I think I mentioned it as well here, that things were changing, that he felt, number one, is reduce his ego, is reduce his demands, as in his demands on the pitch. He wanted to be very, very important. Now he realizes that if he limits his area of influence, which is as between the lines, attacking the space in behind the fullback and the centre back, that's the right back and the right centre back, that area there especially, dropping a little bit deep but not too deep, just not wanting to touch the ball so often, then he becomes more dangerous. If he doesn't touch the ball a lot, he doesn't get anxious. He tends to play now the 90 minutes, which helps, because sometimes his influence, as we saw recently against Granada, he was important, scored in the minute 88 and 100, 2 goals. But as well as against Betis, he did that kind of thing that makes defenders very difficult to, very anxious. Kept running in behind. First half he wasn't so good. Well, Messi appeared, and that's another key thing. Messi now understands Griezmann, and Griezmann understands Messi. All that helps them. For a while, Messi has tried to, even when Luis Suarez was around as well, tried to bring Griezmann into the equation at a personal level. Griezmann, in inside the changing rooms, he feels important and shows it in the way that he chooses the music. He became the DJ of one of the Champions League trips. Champions League was against Dynamo Kiev, in which Messi was not there, but there was this connection with the French group, of course, but also with the youngsters. There's a lot of youngsters at Barcelona: Araujo, Riqui Puig, Pedri, De Jong, and Griezmann feels close to all that with his childish sense of humor that he's got, in a good sense. So all that helps. So understanding of the role, the respect that the fact that the team changed to a 4-3-3 formation that suits him as well, and the fact that Koeman lets him play for the 90 minutes. As I say, even if he doesn't play well, he always will have chances. Always will make the right run, and that kind of thing helps his confidence too. Kurosaki Chigo Stan account says, how is it Barcelona being one of the biggest clubs in the world are going bankrupt? We touched on it as well before, but let me add that bad management, they basically started spending more money that was coming in. It's as simple as that, and then getting in debt by getting loans that increase that debt. So the first thing that the candidates will have to do, or the new chairman will have to do, is to actually reduce expenses and bring more money in. By the way, I've interviewed the three of them in English, and that will be in the YouTube channel very soon as well, where you'll be able to hear from the three of them what their plans are for the future. That will happen around the 15th of February, more or less, when the official campaign will start for the elections, which are, of course, on the 7th of March. And I think the last one comes from SAF 7910, says thoughts on Manchester United's development under Solskjaer. For me, I've always felt that for Solskjaer, the priority is not to just get the team tactically with a lot of layers. Not to give too much information to players. In fact, Alexis Sanchez always said that he needed more information and wasn't given that information. Well, that's his point of view. There was more there. There was the problem that there was no real connection between both the manager and the player. There wasn't the coaches didn't get through to Alexis Sanchez, but he's gone, and that's one of the strong things that Solskjaer has been doing, molding the squad. Because for me, Manchester United is about, like it was under Sir Alex Ferguson, use the money to get the best players available and put them together and play with some basics that have to do with the past and have to do with counter-attacking and have to do with wanting the ball, but it's about the quality of the players. So because of it, the team will, now that it's more or less balanced, with a bench that will be with players with a high value, it will be candidate for things. It'll have to be. It won't be down to the fact that they maximize the potential via analyzing the rival and how they play, by the quality of the players. The quality of the players will be good because they've got a lot of money to buy them, and that will make them candidates. So the development of Solskjaer is completely different. It's down to those quality of players that it would have been, say, I don't know, with other manager, with Tuchel, which is more about the geography of the game, how you put the team together, the tactics, or Pochettino, or whatever. So would that be enough to actually reach to the level of Manchester City? We will see. Or Liverpool when it gets better? We will see. But quality of players, it's absolutely crucial to be a candidate to win things, and the quality you're starting to find and the players that are coming in will make Manchester United better. Okay, that's it. As I announced at the beginning, there's loads going on YouTube, on the podcast as well, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. So keep an eye on it, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.